everyone. Clay from Brooklyn, football with the fellas. It's all about Big Blue. Here with the Week 8 NFC East report. Just want to give you a little update on the fact that we actually have 4 games this weekend. None of the NFC East teams are playing against each other, and none of them have a bye week, so there actually will be 4 separate games. The 4 games start with the 1 o'clock game where the Eagles take on the Cincinnati Bengals in Cincinnati. They're going the road to Cincinnati. The Eagles come in with a 4-2 record. Cincinnati is 3-4. The Eagles have already had their bye week. The Bengals are 10th in the league in scoring, averaging 25 points a game. As we know, they are a very potent offense. Joe Burrow is as good a quarterback as there is. And their pair of receivers, Jamar Chase and T. Higgins, are as good a pair as there is in the NFL. So that team can explode at any moment. There were a few games where they were scoring well into the 30s. And then, we actually kind of shut them down. And let's see if Philly can do that. They're also, they being Cincy, are 20th in the league in points allowed, averaging 23 points a game. So their defense isn't as good as it had been a couple of years ago when they were making their Super Bowl run. But again, that's a team that you have to really prepare for. They can outscore you or they can shut you down defensively, as we learned when we played them. Philly comes in 17th in the league in scoring at 22 points a game, and they are 7th in points allowed at 19 points a game. So their offense is middle of the road, but their defense is still playing pretty well. Certainly their defense looked great against us last week, but a lot of teams' defenses look great against us. We're averaging 14 points a game. So that should be a good matchup. It's in Cincinnati, and we'll see what the Eagles can do against that team. The second game, the 4 o'clock game, is Chicago is visiting Washington to face the Commanders. Chicago comes in with a 4-2 record. They've also already had their bye week against the Commanders, who are 5-2. Washington is first in the league in scoring. They're averaging 31 points a game. They are 15th in the league in points allowed at 21 points a game. But it comes down to, is Jaden Daniels going to play? So obviously their rookie quarterback has been lighting it up, and his injury is such that he didn't play last week. We don't know if he's going to play this week. If he doesn't play, that's a very different game. Obviously, if he does play, it'll be the matchup of the number 1 overall pick, Caleb Williams, against the number 2 overall pick, Jaden Daniels, and I'm sure that's what the league had in mind when they looked ahead at the schedule for this game, but it doesn't look like Jaden Daniels is necessarily going to play, so we'll see. The 8 o'clock game, the Sunday night game, is Dallas at San Francisco. Dallas comes in with a 3-3 record. The 49ers are 3-4. Dallas has also already had their bye week. And traditionally, the 49ers, have Dallas's number, but there's a lot going on in San Francisco this year with injuries. So it is certainly not the same team that Dallas has been losing to for the last few years in the playoffs. Right now, Deebo Samuel is in the hospital with pneumonia. Who knows if he'll be up in time to play this week and healthy enough to play. Brandon Ayuk, they just lost him for the season last week. Christian McCaffrey hasn't played yet at all this year. So their offense is not the same offense that they've had for the last few years, lighting it up. Brock Purdy's going to have to carry the load, pretty much himself with some backups. So they are certainly not as scary or as potent as they've been in years past. But they do still seem to have Dallas's number, and Dallas is obviously wildly inconsistent this year as well. The 49ers come in 8th in the league in scoring, averaging 25 points a game. But again, that's, with some people who aren't going to be there this week, namely Deebo Samuel and Brian Ayuk for sure. They're 16th in the league in points allowed, giving up 22 points a game, which is not nearly as good as the 49ers defenses have been over the last few years. So, they're taking a hit on both sides of the ball, so to speak. Dallas comes in 20th in the league in scoring, averaging 21 points a game. But they're 31st, next to last in the league in points allowed, giving up 28 points a game. Now, when we played them, their defense looked outstanding. So, who knows? But overall, the rest of the league is finding a way to score against Dallas. Will this 49ers offense, minus the weapons that they're used to having, be able to do so as well? We'll see. And then, of course, we play the Monday night game against the Steelers in Pittsburgh. But Meso and I will talk about that game in greater detail later on. But I just wanted to give you the full NFC East report. It's Philly at Cincy. It's Chicago at Washington. It's Dallas at the 49ers. And then we'll be at Pittsburgh. So that's the end of the 4 games in the NFC East. What I've been doing lately is talking about some new things, including a trivia question that I do each week now. Last week's trivia question was the first Black player to be in the NFL Hall of Fame was also the first Black player to play for the New York Giants. And who was that player? And the answer was Emlyn Tennell. So I don't know how many of you had that answer, but that is the answer. Emlyn Tennell was the first Black player to be on the New York Giants, and he was the first Black player in the NFL Hall of Fame. So if you had that, you win. Okay, and now I'm going to tell you this week's trivia question, which is, so Lawrence Taylor was a first-team All-Pro 8 times. LT was an 8-time first-team All-Pro player. That is the record for the most by a New York Giant. The question is, which New York Giant had the second most seasons as a first-team All-Pro? So again, LT led the New York Giants with 8 first-team All-Pro seasons, and I'm asking you who was second all-time for the New York Giants with first-team All-Pro seasons. If you know who that is, please drop it in the comments. Let us know who it was. And again, Football with the Fellas is all about Big Blue. Please like, please share, please subscribe. Tell people about us, and let us know how you feel about our show. All right, thanks for joining us. Clay from Brooklyn, I'm out.